आरंभां व्यासशंकरमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। So namaste to all of you. So in our Sukta Sangraha series, which is I have undertaken this particular yajna of covering all the major suktams which are taught generally, and the purpose of this yajna is, number one, is to teach chanting, also explain the meaning to the best possible way, keeping it very simple, so that we are able to appreciate the beauty of the suktams and understand. When you're chanting the mantra also, it becomes more like it's interesting rather than a mechanical thing.
Excuse me, Chandraji, Shankarji, now I joined my name. Some problem was there.
Okay.
What was the topic? What is the topic today?
Sri Suktam. I told you, no? Sri Suktam.
Sri Suktam. Okay.
So Sri Suktam is one of the Pancha Suktams. So it is one of the Suktams being recited in all the Vaishnava temples, or even also in any of the rituals we do. Sri Suktam is chanted because the word Sri itself indicates Lakshmi. So Shri, when you say, the word Shri indicates all types of wealth. Who is this guy? So Sri Suktam actually occupies a very important place in the Sukta Parayana. So in all the temples, wherever you go, they will chant this slokas. Purusha Suktam, then Narayana Suktam, Vishnu Suktam, Durga Suktam, and Sri Suktam. Most in the Arshavidya Parampara, we chant Atharva Meda Suktam, then the other Suktams. So Meda Suktam is always in the beginning, we chant, which we already saw. We haven't yet seen Atharva yet. So I'll probably cover that at some point of time when we complete this, and then we'll go back again to some other Suktam. Okay. So the Sri Suktam is traditionally chanted for prosperity, for seeking the blessings of the Lord. As you know, in the tradition, we have Alvars and Nayanmars. The two people are there. Okay. So the Alvars, all the people who are from the Vaishnava tradition, they are the Alvars. And who are the Shaiva, they from Nayanmargal. So Alvar and Nayanmargal are the people who are responsible for, in the olden days, for introducing the Bhakti concept or the philosophy of Bhakti. So Sri Suktam also is written by, is traditionally more than 800 years old. So after 800 years old, one Bhashyakara wrote the Bhashyam after 800 years. So after 800 years, somebody has taken effort to write the Bhashyam for the Suktam. That means this particular hymn is that old. 800 years means you can imagine how old it will be. Australia itself is only 300 years old. So 3 times older than Australia means you can imagine like how ancient our culture is. And even before that, it could have been there. Only people know only 800 years. That's what they say. So Sri Suktam is chanted for prosperity, for invoking the goddess Lakshmi's Kadarcham, for the welfare or the general prosperity of the human beings. So very integral part of the whole thing. And we'll first chant the mantra, the whole thing. And then we will take up one by one the meaning of it. Okay. So I'll repeat it one line twice so that you can follow. And later on, when I actually cover the actual meaning, I'll again do the same thing twice, each line. So that will give you enough practice to chant correctly. Okay. Before we chant, in Sri Suktam also, there are different texts which cover different things. So what I sent you is what you're going to cover today, because that is the essence of what is being taught. There are some other versions which has got more being chanted, but we did not cover those things traditionally. Om Hiranyavarnam, Om Hiranyavarnam Harini, Om Hiranyavarnam Harini Suvarna Rajatasrajam, Suvarna Rajatasrajam, Om Hiranyavarnam Harini.
I didn't understand that.
Okay, just keep quiet. This is our, sometimes people are over smart. Just put it to sleep. Om Hiranyavarnam Harinim Suvarna Rajatasrajam Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmi Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmi Jata Vedo Maavaha Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmi Jata Vedo Maavaha Om Hiranyavarnam Harinim Suvarna Rajatasrajam Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmi Jata Vedo Maavaha Tama Avaha Tama Avaha Jata Vedo Tama Avaha Jata Vedo Lakshmi Manapa Gamini Lakshmi Manapa Gamini Tama Avaha Jata Vedo Lakshmi Manapa Gamini Yasyam Hiranyam Yasyam Hiranyam Vindheyam Yasyam Hiranyam Vindheyam Gamashvam Yasyam Hiranyam Vindheyam Gamashvam Purushanaham Ashvapurvam Radamadhyam Ashvapurvam Radamadhyam Hastinada Prabodini Hastinada Prabodini Shriyam Devi Mubhafhaye Shriyam Devi Mubhafhaye Shrirva Devi Jushatam Shriyam Devi Mubhafhaye Shrirma Devi Jushatam. Kam sosmitam हिरण्य प्राकारामाद्रां हिरण्य प्राकारामाद्रां ज्वलन्तीं तृप्तां तर्पयन्तीं कांसोऽस्मितां हिरण्य प्राकारामाद्रां ज्वलन्तीं तृप्तां तर्पयन्तीं पद्मे स्थितां पद्मवर्णां पद्मे स्थितां पद्मवर्णां तामिहोबः हये श्रियम् तामिहोबः हये श्रियम् चन्द्रां प्रभासां यशसा ज्वलन्तीं चन्द्रां प्रभासां यशसा ज्वलन्तीं श्रियं लोके देवजुष्टामुदारां चन्द्रां प्रभासां यशसा ज्वलन्तीं श्रियं लोके देवजुष्टामुदारां तां पद्मिनीमीं शरणमहं तां पद्मिनीमीं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये तां पद्मिनीमीं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये अलक्ष्मीर्मे नश्यतां त्वां वृणे आदित्यवर्णे तपसोऽधिजातो आदित्यवर्णे तपसोऽधिजातो वनस्पतिस्थव वृक्षोदबिल्वः तस्य फलानि तपसानुदन्तु मायान्तरायाश्च बाह्या अलक्ष्मीः उपैतु मां देवसः कीर्तिश्च मणिना सह प्रादुर्भूतोऽस्मि राष्ट्रेऽस्मिन् कीर्तिमृद्धिं दधातु मे उपैतु मां देवसः कीर्तिश्च मणिना सह प्रादुर्भूतोऽस्मि राष्ट्रेऽस्मिन् कीर्तिमृद्धिं दधातु मे शुत्पिपासामलां ज्येष्ठामलक्ष्मीं नाशयाम्यहम् शुत्पिपासामलां ज्येष्ठामलक्ष्मीं नाशयाम्यहम् अबूधिमसमृद्धिं च सर्वां निर्नुद मे गृहात् गन्धद्वारां धुरादर्शां नित्यपुष्टां करीक्षिणीं Ishwari Gum Sarva Bhutanam. Ishwari Gum Sarva Bhutanam. Tamiho Bhaye Shriyam. Ishwari Gum Sarva Bhutanam. Tamiho Bhaye Shriyam. Manasak Kamamakutim. Manasak Kamamakutim. Vachas Satyamashīmahi. Vachas Satyamashīmahi. Pashunam Rupamannasya. Pashunam Rupamannasya. Mayi Shri Shrayatam Yashaha. Mayi Shri Shayatam Yashaha. Up to this we'll do today. I mean, I can't complete this verse, but I'm saying up to this we'll chant. Then from there onwards, we will do the next one, the next class. Okay, so every mantra starts with the Om. So we never start anything without Om. And here also, Jata Vedo Ma'avaha. So same question. Why is Jata Veda here again? We are talking of Sri Suktam. We are talking of Durga Suktam. We are talking of why is Jata Veda? What is Jata Veda here? What, as I told you before, Jata Veda is supposed to be Agni. And Agni is the person who will take us to our oblations to the Bhagavan. So without Agni, nothing can be done. Any ritual which you do without Agni is called incomplete ritual. That is why even if you get registered marriage, if you get married, in Gandhar Vivaha, means you just go to temple, exchange some mala, and you declare yourself wife and husband. The society may accept it, but our tradition accepts what? Whatever you may do, you can get married whichever you want, but you have to solemnize the marriage by in front of Agni, because what you are trying to do is in front of Agni you are making a promise. You are making a commitment that this is my wife and this is my husband. And I accept her as a wife for my pursuit of dharma. For my pursuit of, that's why it's called Saha Dharmini. Correct? So Saha Dharmini means what? In dharma, it is Saha, means you are together. You are not alone. In fact, our ritual says that, our Shastram says, if you are not married, you cannot do any ritual at all. You do not have the eligibility to do any ritual at all. Because you can only do Sandhyavandanam for Brahmacharya. You cannot do any ritual for anything. So for that, you have to be married. So the purpose of marriage is Vivaha. So why Vivaha I'm saying? Because even here Lakshmi Narayana is actually Vivaham. So they talks about the same thing here. How these two are non-separate and how these two support each other in protecting the universe. So it is, so Vivaha, when you say this, Vaha means Uddritaha, means you uplift yourself. And Vi means very well, or you uplift yourself from the common people to something which is higher. So you are actually getting into the next stage of Dharma, Varnashra Dharma, where you are now going to follow the Dharma. And your wife is supposed to be the guardian of Dharma. See the funny thing. So the wife is supposed to be the guardian of Dharma, because without the wife being there, the Yajaman cannot even start anything. You may be ready, wearing Panchakacham, everything will be there. The Vadyar will also come and sit there next to you. But neither the Vadyar can start anything, nor you can't start anything unless the Mami is ready. So Vadyar, what will say? Is the Mami ready or not? As the Mami has got Vadisar, is ready. So unless you cannot come in a chudidar, you cannot come in something, or neither you can wear, a pant shirt or something like this and sit there and do puja. You have to, if you are a married person, you have to wear panchakacham. If you are doing ritual. If you are unmarried, you can wear the normal, dhoti which you are wearing. For the women, you have to wear the Madisa. So again, in Vaishnava, Madisa is different. In Shaivite, Madisa is different. But both of them have to be the same. So you have to be ready. And when the person comes, the Agni is actually given by the wife and then it is put into the fire. The wife has to give the Agni first, then only Agni can be started. Correct. So the Karpuram, whatever is there, it says you first give it. So everything will be ready. But you have to put the first Agni. Why? Because the Shrihi, mean the women, hold always highest position in our Dharma. The men may be whatever, I'm not criticizing. What I'm saying is the women actually hold the whip. The women actually hold the controls. Means when you see, when you ritual, the wife is standing behind, the Vadyar will give some darbai. He says you stand behind. And what he's supposed to do, the 3 darbai he give you, he's supposed to be holding on the right shoulder, not the left shoulder, correct? The wife will always standing on the right side of the husband, not the left side of the husband. Because left is for other rituals, correct? Right is for the Brahmanas, like all the Vishwe Devaha. Right? So the wife keeps the sometimes it will be tickling because you don't have anything there, and she start to tickle like this, watching something here and there. So it will start to click. But what it means is that I am behind you, and the stick which I am holding is Dharma stick. So I am watching behind you. I am making sure that what we do is correct and you are following Dharma, which you promised when I got married to you. So if the husband falters, husband goes from a track, the wife's job is to bring him back, saying that, look, this is not your Dharma. It is, you are not following your Dharma, your job is this is Dharma. So it's called Sahadharmini. Sadharmini, correct? So in Dharma, they are together. And through Dharma, it is called, that's why it's called Vivaha, means we will uplift ourselves through marriage to highest level of Dharma. It's called Vivaha. You never say Kalyanam. See, if you look at any Patrikai, they will not say Kalyana Patrikai. They will always say Vivaha Swamurta Patrikai, correct? You may say Kalyana Patrikai, will just give it. See, while speaking, you can say, I'm giving Kalyana Patrika to somebody. But you never say Vivaha Patrika, I'm giving, right? But when you write, what do you write? Vivaha Patrika, Swamurta Patrika, correct? Why Vivaha means, you should know that. So same way here also, this Shri, this power, goddess is worshipped. Shakti is worshipped. Because Shakti lil Shivam illai. So without Shakti, there is no Shivam. That's why women in Tamil, because there are all Tamil people here, I can talk in Tamil a little bit here and there. So, Avadam Pennale, Ayvadam Pennale. Correct. That means you can actually grow with women, or you can also get destroyed with women also. If you use the women in the wrong manner, it can cause destruction for you. If you are with them, if you support them, if you are always with them, life will be good for you. Right? That is what same thing is talked about here. That if you worship the Sri, the Bhagavati here, the Lakshmi Katarcham will be there all the time for you, and you'll never be having any problem. But if you do not respect the Bhagavan, if you don't respect the power itself, then it can bring you anartham. That's why Lakshmi Suktam, Sri Suktam is chanted for bringing prosperity to the family. See, everything is good benefit, because here we are talking about now what? Not Atma Jnanam. Here we're talking about karma. Correct? Upasanam. So Upasanam is the first step of invoking the Bhagavan, making sure that we are comfortable with, our mind is prepared, we are focused, we are seeking the Bhagavan's help for prosperity, everything, etc. Then only Atma Jnanam can happen. If your stomach is empty, if you don't have a house, you are living in poverty and tatters, Atma Jnana, somebody tells you, come on, I'll teach you Brahma Jnana. What do you say? Sir, I'm not ready because next day I'm worried about my food. So you have to be fed properly. Everything has to be there. So you ask for protection, ask for this. So here also, after asking for everything, now the goddess is praised. So how we'll look at this now. Om Hiranyavarnam Harinim Suvarna Rajatasrajam. So first one is Hiranyavarnam. So Hiranyam, when you say, is called golden. And Varnaha means the color. Ponniram Udayavale. So Hiranyavarnam is called Ponniram Udayavale, or the one which is the goddess who is of the nature of golden color. It means it's shining like gold. And who does it invoke? He Jatavedaha. So He Jatavedaha, he is being invoked first. So He Jatavedaha, I am worshipping Hiranyavarnam. So I am worshipping that power who is of the nature of golden color. And Jatavedaha here means what? The one who is responsible for giving us dhanam. So Jatavedam is called dhanam, jnanam, yashaha, yasya Jatavedam. So dhanam va, jnanam va, yashasva, yasya iti Jatavedaha. For people who are interested in Sanskrit or the Bhashyam, this Jatavedaha or Jatam iti, jnanam va, shriyam va, shreyas, yashasva, yasya iti Jatavedaha. So, He Jatavedaha, He Agni Devane or Agni, the Lord Agni, please take our oblations to the one who is referred as Hiranyavarnam. So Hiranyavarna. Then Harinim. See, Harinim, when you say Harihi, means Harinim belonging to the Hari. Number one, there are two definitions. Okay. Harinim means the one which is belonging to the Harihi. Second meaning is the one Harati iti Harihi. Harati means what? Which Harati means that which snatches away your problems, obstacles. So Hari, that's why I say Hari Hari. So Harati iti Harihi. Harati means which snatches away. So all your problems in life or your sorrow is being snatched away by the prayer. So Harinim means belonging to the Hari, number one definition. Second definition is the one who is the remover of obstacles, called Harinim. Sarva Papa Harana Shilam. So Harinim also equals to Sarva Papa Harana Shilam. It's called Harinim. Papa Harini, you can say. Papa Harini is Harinim. Okay. So Hiranyavarnam, Harinim. So two names. So as I told you, the same one power, one Lakshmi is invoked in different names. So it does not mean that there is a one Lakshmi which is of green, of golden color. Another Lakshmi is the person for removing. No, all of them point only one aspect of the power, Shakti, and the Shakti itself is worshipped in different forms by different people. Somebody worships Durga, Kali, the Lalitambika, Mukambika, Medha, Saraswati. They are all names, but ultimately all of them indicate only one Shakti, one power. So Sharadamba, Lalitambika, all of them are Sharadambika, Lalitambika, whatever each person worships, the Shakti is only one. It is named, it is different names being published, and within the names also the characteristics of worship is different. But all of them belong only to one power. So Hiranyavarna Harini. Then Suvarna Rajatasrajam. So Suvarna Rajatasrajam means, Suvarna means gold. Okay. And Rajaha, Suvarna Rajaha means here the silver. So gold and silver. So the one who is Saundaryaha, Lavanyaha, Nanya Gunani. So it is not there in Bhashyam, I'm reading the Bhashyam. So Saundaryaha means the one who is beautiful. Correct? Lavanyaha. And Nirmalam, Virajamanaha. How Suvarna Raja Tasrajam. Right? The one who is adorned with silver and gold ornaments, or the malas, beads, can say this. Right? So Suvarna Raja Tasrajam. Then Chandram. So Chandraha means the moon.
Srajam wearing, possessing.
Rajastrajam. Rajam means decorated.
Decorated. Okay.
Decorated with gold and silver ornaments. Or the one who is wearing, you can say this. Abhushanam, you can call it Abhushanaha. In Bhushanam, Abhushanaha, you can say this. So Hiranya Varna, one word, Harinim, second word. So the one who is of the nature of golden color is Hiranya Varna. Harinim is the one which is belonging to Harihi. Second definition is the one which is capable of removing your papam, snatching away all the obstacles, is called Harinim. And this Devi is adorned with Suvarna Raja Tasrajam, adorned with gold and silver ornaments. Then Chandram, how is she? She is of the nature of Chandraha. Chandraha means what? The moon. So moon is actually what is very cool, right? And it's pleasant to look at it. Moon is always very pleasant to look at it. There's not a single person who will say that I don't like the moonlight. Right? You may not like sunlight because sun is too harsh for you. The sun will actually scorch your skin, so you may not want to be in the sun. But there's not a single person you will say that I don't want moonlight, because moonlight makes you feel good. Right? So she is also the nature of brilliance, at the same time nature of coolness also. So the sun and the moon represents both the aspects. The sun represents the golden color, the moon represents the whitish color. So when you do Upasanam for Lakshmi, it is one and the same. We see the sun, we see Lakshmi, you see the moon, also it is Lakshmi. So Shrihi. Right? So Chandram. Again, Hiranmayim. So again, Hiranmayim comes here because again of the nature of gold. So Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmi. I mean the one, see here the Hiranmayim represents the one who is the who's spreading the light which is caused by the brilliance in the sun. So Hiranmayim means what? The golden color, correct? So the golden color, what does it do? It actually spreads the light. So Hiranyavarnam, Hiranmayim. So Hiranyavarna means of the color of golden color. The golden color, what does it do? It spreads light. Right? So the one who is spreading light is called Hiranmayim. Right? Jata Vedoma Avaha. Right? So Hiranmayim Lakshmi. So the word Lakshmi means this Mahalakshmi which is there is invoked. So this Mahalakshmi who is of the nature of Hiranyavarnam, Harinim, Suvarna, Rajadasrajam, Chandram, Hiranmayim, and such a Lakshmi called Lakshmi. Jata Vedoma Avaha. So he says, Hey Agni Devata, I am invoking you to bless or take the oblation from me and bring the blessings back from such a lady, such a power called Lakshmi. So that's why Hey Jata Vedaha. So you must first say Jata Vedaha. Jata Vedoma Avaha means what? Avahanam. So Avaha means what? We are doing Avahanam. Right? Or that means you please bring or invoke. So in the Agni, whenever you do in Agni Karma, you do the mantras for invoking the particular Shakti in the Agni. You do not mechanically do in Agni Karya just like that. You want to invoke the particular Shakti there so that the particular Devata gives you the benefit, or the goddess gives you benefit. So Tama Avaha. Om Hiranyavarnam. Om Hiranyavarnam Harini Suvarna Rajatasrajam. Om Hiranyavarnam Harini Suvarna Rajatasrajam. Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmi. Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmi. Jata Vedo Maavaha. Jata Vedo Maavaha. So is this clear? First line. So whenever we chant this mantra, what we are invoking is the grace of Lakshmi. Right.
Sir, and the Harini man to meaning.
Illa. Harini actually in Sanskritam, it means Harati. Mean the one, there are two meanings only. The one which is a remover, that is Hiran. Hiranmayim is actually of the nature of deer different. That's a concept, different concept. Here we should not take like this. Here the concept is of the nature of golden color. Hiranmayam. Hiranmaya Patrena. Hiranyagarbha. See, Hiranyagarbha is the golden orb, correct?
Okay.
So here you see Hiranmayim, Hiranyavarnam, Hiranmayim. So the golden color and the possessor of the golden color is Hiranmayim. Right? So naturally, if you got if you're one of the golden color, you will naturally be spreading the color. Correct? You would not be hiding it because it is the nature of the sun to illumine. The sun cannot go anywhere and hide anywhere because it is Swayam Prakashaha. Right? That's why same things talks about here. You will see later on how we compare sun and the moon. He compares this. But I'm giving you introduction itself so that you know whenever invoking this particular mantra, you are invoking the Lakshmi in that form. That means the sun, the moon is already encompassed. So all the light which is there, all of them, you will see Ishwarikum Sarva Bhutana. Right? Correct? Ishwara Sarva Bhutana. So you see this later on. So Ishwari Gum Sarva Bhutana, Ishwara Sarva Bhutana. So what this Ishvara is present in everything, and Ishwari Gum is Ishwari also is present. That means the power and the Shivaha both are present in all the living and non-living beings. Okay. Then
Shankarji, excuse me. The Jada Vedom Ava, one would explain, please.
See, Jata Vedaha, when they say Jata Vedam means it is actually a name of Agni. Right? So Jatam iti Vedaha, in that which is the Agni, which is takes everything back to the rightful person. He's called, so when we invoke the mantra, see if you're chanting Sri Suktam, the Sri Suktam will invoke the particular mantra, Shakti. So the Agni knows that what mantra is chanted, and it actually listens. I mean, it doesn't have ears. But what it says is here, the tradition says that you have to invoke the mantra in a particular manner. So Jata Vedoma Avaha. Avaha means Avahanam. So Avahanam, when you say, means invoking. So you invoke the Bhagavan. So when you say Ganapati Avahanam, when you say, Avaha is a Sanskrit term. Avahanam means that, when you invoke the Ganapati Avahanam. Lakshmi Avahanam. So you Avahanam means what? Invoke that particular deity by chanting the mantra, correct? That's why Jata Vedaha is actually called Swataha Siddham. That means what? The one which is established. Swataha Siddham means what? There's no need for Agni to prove anything. Agni has been given full rights by the Devatas that you represent us. So Agni, without the oblation to the Agni, your offering will not be complete. So you can do whatever you want. You can say, I will do this, etc. It is only for your satisfaction, but it will not go to the right Devata because the particular mantra is not invoked. So you'll have to invoke the Agni, and then the Agni has to be, Avahana has to be done, the mantra has to be chanted, offering has to be done for the particular oblation, the particular order, then only the Agni is accepting that. So Jata Vedaha, that's called Havya Vahanaha. So another name for Jata Veda is Havya Vahanaha. So Havyam means what? Havis means offering, and Vahanam means what? The transporter. So the transporter who is taking your Havyam, Havis, etc. is called Havya Vahanaha. So he takes it up. Agni never actually goes sideways. Agni always flare up because the Devatas are always up in the other lokas, Sarga lokas. So you offer, it will go up, it is taken there. So Avaha, Tamma Avaha means you. Tam means you. You invoke for me this Lakshmi for me. Hey Agni Devata. And so that's what is the reason essence here. Is it clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
The same thing you explained in Durga Shuktam, no?
Correct. See,
Jata Veda.
Jata Veda is actually referred in all texts because Agni Purana is one of the biggest. Agni Puranam is everything is Jata Veda. Without Jata Veda means what? The Agni is supposed to be the foremost. See, as I told you in the Purusha Suktam before, Agni, the previous days, Agni Devata need not have to come to earth at all because Agni Devata was very happy among the other Devatas. Because the people were very pious and they knew what they were doing, and there was no Papa Karmas required, there was no other purification required. So this is Satya Yuga. See, Krita Yuga, Satya Yuga, Krita Yuga, right? In that Yuga, there was people were living for 100,000 years. Now in Kali Yuga, the life will be 67 years. If you live 67 average, some people live 100 years. It's not average out, it will be 67 years. And when towards the end of the Kali Yuga, it will be 33 years. So the lifespan of 30, that means what? You will take birth, you will just grow, you immediately will die also. Because the dharma will not be there. There is no time, you will be only doing papa karmas. There is no time for you to do anything. That is why Kali Muktirma. See, we say, when the Kali Yuga starts, Dharma will actually struggle to stand on even one leg. Dharma Devata. Right now, it is standing. Okay, it is still standing on two legs. But come a time, over a period of time, all these things will be forgotten. Nobody will chant anything. Nobody will do rituals. Nobody will study anything. They will do whatever they want. They'll get married to whomever they want. There will be all, in the Bhagavatam, there's a prediction. Right? It's given that Kali Yugam will be difficult for people to live. That is why in Uddhava Gita, Krishna says that Uddhava, you cannot live in this world, because Krishna says that I am going to leave this universe and go. So just as because Uddhava is a minister in his in his assembly, Uddhava also is the greatest friend. He says, Krishna, what will I do if you are going? You can't leave me alone. He says, Uddhava, I can give you advice that you cannot live in this world without me, because this world will not be suitable for you to live. So he said, what should you do? He said, you come and meet me in Badrinath. I'll go to Badrinath. I will be there. So Uddhava leaves everything, and then he goes. So Uddhava Gita is actually another text after the Bhagavad Gita is taught, where Krishna teaches Uddhava more things than what he has taught Arjuna. See, Arjuna was a student of Krishna in the Mahabharata, correct? In that one. Whereas in Uddhava Gita, after post-war, when all this, he is relaxing there, basically he's waiting for his end, Krishna. Because Gandhari is already given a curse that the whole Yadukula will be demolished. So he's waiting for the curse to come to truth. And he has come to the end of the particular thing. So he knows that it is going to come in. So he teaches Uddhava Gita separately. So which I'll take up later after we finish the Bhagavad Gita for other students. So what I'm trying to say here is, so Jata Veda is supposed to be one of the foremost ones. And when the rituals started to come down in quality, the Devas were not able to accept the oblations in the correct manner. So they say that, we cannot just accept what people are sending. You validate. You make sure that people are doing dharma correctly there, they're chanting the mantras correctly there, they're doing oblations correctly there, and then you be the transporter and you certify or accept. That's why Jata Veda is invoked. Like every ritual, Agni is invoked. Any ritual, anybody who takes it also, Agni is invoked. That's why Jata Veda has given importance. So it is not because Durga Suktam is Durga Suktam or Lakshmi Suktam is Lakshmi only, but Durga is invoked for acceptance of offer oblations. After that, they talk about it. Then again, see, Tama Avaha. Next one. Tama Avaha Jata Vedho. So here Jata Vedaha again. Because here the Yajamanam or the person who is there is doing Yajnaha. He is doing his prayer. And the prayer is something directly cannot reach to the Bhagavan directly there. So there has to be a transporter. There has to be some via media. See, if you go to the temple also, you cannot directly go to Sanctum Sanctorum and do offer puja there. You have to give to the priest, right? You cannot enter the temple. There's a clearly board saying that beyond this point, people cannot go inside. Why? Because you are not eligible to go inside because you are Ashuddha. Not because oh no, how can you say I am Ashuddha? Because the temple rules are there. They are doing rituals, they are taking bath, they are not touching anybody, they are following, they're supposed to be doing all this thing. I do not know, but that is the process. So to go to the Bhagavan, you have to first offer to the Pujari there. He will take it inside, he will offer and then come back and give you prasadam. Right? The same way, the Jata Veda is intermediate there between you, the receiver, the transporter. Right? So again, Tam Avah Jata Vedho means what? Hey Agni Devata Jata Vedo Lakshmi. So Lakshmi, give me Lakshmi, Manapagamini. So Manapagamini means, the word Manapagamini actually means you must not leave, or don't leave us, or whatever you have given me, the Lakshmi which is there, you do not leave us. And what are you asking for? You are asking for yasyaha, yasyam, yasyam hiranyam bindheyam gamashvam purushanaham. So yasyaha iti. So gamaha. See, gamaha means what? Goes or the cows. So in the olden days, the cow, Gomata was supposed to be, every house had Gomata, cow. Because cow is supposed to be the giver of milk. Right? And from milk you can get anything you want. You can get butter, you can get ghee, you can get chas or whatever more. You can get anything, correct? And that was the cleanest way. So it is also worship. So the gamaha means the cows. Right? Then ashwaha, gamaha ashwaha. Ashwam means what? The horses. So horses, because they used to ride the horse that time. To travel to some place, they need a horse. So they will go on horse also. There's no other vehicle like car, etc. in the olden days. So the cattle, talked about gamashwaham, gama ashwaha. Then vindeyam purushanaham. So vindaha means attainment, or may you attain is called vindaha. So vindeyam means the receiver of this particular thing is me. So vindaha. So govindaha, when you say, so vindati means to attain, and go means where. See, in Bhajagovindam, Govindaha. Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudamate. So Govindaha means what? Go means knowledge there. And Vindaha means attain. So may you attain knowledge is called Govindaha. At the same time, Govindeyam here means Govindeyam, Ashwam Vindeyam. It means let me be the receiver of the goats, of the cow. Let me be receiving all the horses which are required for me. And Purushan Aham. See, Purushanaha here means what? The people around me, or you can say the relatives, or the well-wishers, or the people who I need to be living around. So Vindeyam Sarvam Vibhutim Labeyam Ithi. So Vibhutim, Sarvam Vibhutim Labhyam Ithi or Labeyam Ithi is called Vindeyam. Means all the wealth. Sarvam Vibhutim. So Vibhutihi means what? All. So Vibhutihi means all prasadaha. So Sarvam Vibhutim Labhyam Ithi Vindeyam. Purushanaham, it means Dasi, Dasaha, Adi, Paricharakan. So Dasi, Dasa. Dasi means what? Maids. Dasa means servant. Correct? Paricharakaha means what? The people who are helpers. So Purushan, the word Purushan, you would extend it. See, in the olden days, you had people who were helpers. Right? So they are helpers, they were maids who will do work for you. They were people who come and clean the house for you. And there are also other helpers who will do some other work for you. Because in the olden days, the people were busy doing their own work. The Brahmana will go out and do some puja there. The maid will be, at home there will be house to maintain, something will be there to clean the house, clean everything there. So you're asking for that. What you're asking for is complete protection. So he says, I want Paricharakam. So Purushan Aham means, so I'm reading the Bhashyam there, it says, Hiranyam Hiranya Rupyadi So Gamaha means what? Gomata. Correct. Ashwam means horse. Then Vindeyam means the one which is Sarvam Vibhutim Labeyam Iti. Means all the receiver of all these things is called Vindeyam. Right. And Purushan Aham. Aham means for me. Purushan, so you say Aham Purushanaha, Aham Ashvaha, Aham Gamaha, Vindeyam, Vindati. So for me, let me be the receiver of all the cows, all the horses, all the relatives, all the maids, servants. See, list is endless. See, when you're asking for God, don't be stingy, because what is the, what are you crying about? Ask. Whether you're going to get or not, different thing. Correct. So let us not be stingy. So see, let's not be so, ask. Because who else you can ask? You cannot ask somebody else. See, anybody else you ask will say, look, they're limited people. See, I can give you so much money only because I got this much bank balance only. I need to keep this for reserve because I have to live for long. I'll give you this much money. So you're asking for somebody, means they'll give you only what he can give you, which is after deducting what nobody can give you the entire thing. Right? Only Jnanam can give you everything. So if you ask for Jnanam, you will get 100% you get it. If you ask for money, you will get depending on what is available to you. If you ask for property, I got only one house. Maximum you can come and stay with me for 1 week. After that, you have to find your own house. So all are limited. Whereas you go to the Bhagavan's house, ask anything because he is the only one to be asked. So he says, that's why he says here, Tama Avaha means Jata Vedaha. So I am invoking in you Jata Veda. For me, bring me Lakshmi. The Lakshmi who is supposed to be with me, Manapagamini, means that Lakshmi should not leave me. She should not leave me at all. Because we want Lakshmi Katarcham or Lakshmi protection all the time. We do not want any time to be left. Right? So Yasyaha Hiranyam means this gold. So Hiranyam, so you're asking for gold. The olden days gold coins were supposed to be famous. See, in the Raja also, they'll give you gold coins. So Hiranyam, gold. So give me gold, give me Gamaha, Ashvaha, Purushanaha, Aham, Vindeyam, Vindati. So you give me cows, horses, gold, people around me, protection, servants, Dasi, Dasa, correct? All of them give me, hey Agni Devata, and let this Lakshmi not leave me. This is the prayer. So, when you chant this mantra, it is very easy. Mechanically, you can just chant. But what it means is that you are actually asking for all this protection to keep yourself secure. See, if you don't have wealth, you will not be able to live in this world. Let me be honest. Even sannyasi also needs a bhiksha. Correct? Just become sannyasi doesn't mean that the person can starve. Because sannyasi is a person living on the person has left everything because for loka sangraha, for benefit society. So by teaching, by giving knowledge, we are respecting the knowledge, correct? And respect knowledge, you're taking care of the person as bhiksha, as an offering to the person, surrender to the person. So everything requires protection there. So for a grahastha, if you are there, then you cannot go ask anywhere else. If you have a sannyasi, if you're dedicated sannyasi, somebody will respect you and will say, oh, see, the sannyasi is there. And they won't go and ask. If you are well known, if you have good teaching ability, if your knowledge is very good, if you're a nice person, very compassionate person, then people will come and give you. They say, oh, please come and have this, come and bless us, come and teach us. That way the connection is there. If you are some random guy, nobody's going to take care of you. See, tomorrow, if you don't have wealth, Do you think people will come and respect you? They won't. Bhaja Govindam, what they says, Kaste Putraha. Who is your brother? Who is your son? Who is your wife? Nobody. Because as long as you are people, you got money around, you got wealth around, people respect you. The moment you think you're not needed, you are not required for them. This is the universal truth in life. This is why, as long as we are living there, it doesn't mean that we should be, guarding everything. You must have enough wealth for you to live comfortably. But over and about that, chasing money is actually foolishness. So the moment you think that I have enough, it is okay for me, then you just maintain it. So this prayer is for maintaining what you already got, not for asking for more and more. Okay. So you give me enough wealth for me to live comfortably. Correct. This is the meaning of this particular mantra. So we'll once more read this mantra, these two mantras. The next class will continue from where we left. Om Hiranyavarnam Harinim. Om Hiranyavarnam Harinim Suvarna Rajatasrajam Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmim Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmim Jata Vedo Maavaha Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmim Jata Vedo Maavaha Tama Avaha Tama Avaha. Just watch this swara. Okay. Tama Avaha Jatha Vedo Lakshmi Manapagamini Lakshmi Manapagamini Yasyam Hiranyam Bindeyam Gamashvam Purushanaham Yasyam Hiranyam Bindeyam Gamashvam Purushanaham. Is it clear?
ഒരു പോയിന്റ് ലക്ഷ്മി മനപഗാമിനി മനപഗാമിനി இல்லையா?
No, Manap Agamini means
Manam
Agamini.
Oh, Manam Agamini.
Manaha Agamini means that don't leave me from my
Don't.
heart. So
Okay.
Manaha Agamini, don't leave me from my heart.
Okay.
It means you must not leave me at all. That's what it says here. Or leave me. So Kadachit. So don't leave me, because if you leave me, then I'll be stranded. That's what is the prayer. So
Okay.
you're always asking for Lakshmi Kadacha protection there. Correct?
Hmm.
Were you able to get the chanting correct, all of you? Was it too fast or slow? Are you able to follow? Okay. Because I taught you already, some of you already chanting, so you already know. Some of
Yeah, you taught us, we know. Yes.
Correct. So just for other people who are not learned, or some people already know about it. So in Lakshmi, in Sri Suktam, the swaras are many. They're very complex swaras. So there are a lot of places you have to go down, you have to go up, you have to see there is Dirgha Swaraha, and there's no swara at all completely. So Anuswaraha is there. So you have to be very careful about where you want to go. So if you see a stick at the top of the letter, only the letter has to go up. So if you look at, see, Tama. So ma means ma going down, right? Tama Avaha. So you have to chant like this. So when you chant Tama Avaha, it just becomes. So sometimes swara goes upside down. That's why chanting is supposed to be for one's own self, not for other people. You must never chant for getting progress or proving your popularity or how well you chant. Chanting is supposed to be one for one's own self, understanding the meaning, be with the meaning. That is the purpose of chanting. Because chanting has to give you effect. It has to energize you. It is not for other people to know how well you chant. People will know about it anyway. But if you chant it well, you will actually be forgetting the world. You will be only within your own world of chanting, understanding mantra. That is the significance of it. It is also part of the chanting methodology being taught. Okay. Any other question? Soumya ji, you're okay?
Yes, sir, I'm okay.
So we'll conclude the class here today, and tomorrow there is no class because I given break for Upanishad class for students because they said they wanted to make notes or they wanted to catch up, take a breath. So we are going to start Kathopanishad after 2 weeks. I sent you Bhashyam already for the people who want to attend. So it will be a very intense class. So only people who are really keen to attend, you can do the long haul. I would encourage you to attend. You can attend, of course, but if you in between, if you miss classes, you will not understand anything out of it. It's a very beautiful text. 70% of the Bhagavad Gita is from Kathopanishad. So it's one of the famous texts where Lord Yamaraja is a teacher, and Nachiketa is a student. And in the Karma Kanda, Nachiketa Yagaha is a very famous text. So there it teaches Nachiketa how to do rituals. So there's a famous section there. It talks about rituals, process, everything is there.
What
So,
time?
text.
What time?
It will be 8 o'clock.
Australian time. தூங்கிட்டு இருப்போம்.
Operation class will make you sleep anyway. I can't find any other time at the moment. So I'm trying to juggle all my times here and there. So it's a bit fluid night now because so many commitments are coming now. I have to balance everything. So I'll see what I can do. Okay. But in 2 weeks' time, we'll meet. I sent you the Bhashyam already. So those people who are attending, they can come at 8 o'clock. Fridays. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Harihi Om Tatsat Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Namaste, Shubhratri to all of you.
Namaste.
Thank you, Ji.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.